I've done some training to show everybody how you can go from an original idea and then have like a first draft, which is what Nora had. She had a second draft, didn't you, as well? And then I'll just share my screen and show you where that training is because I would like everybody to watch that training. It doesn't matter if you're doing a murder mystery word search book or not. Um, so I'll just show you where it is. Book cover designs here. And here it is how to improve your book cover. And from where we started off with Nora's one to that final image, I'll just show you the final image for those of you who haven't seen it. If I go to home, it will be here, won't it, Nora? So this was Nora's second draft because the first one just looked like a summer's day, didn't it? And then I've added sparkles and bells and sprinkles to it to make it more vibrant, to make it more three-dimensional, to make it pop, basically to make people want to buy it. And I think it was Liz who said as soon as she saw it, she wanted to buy it. And I will definitely buy it as well, Nora, because I've never seen a murder mystery word search book. So I'm so intrigued about this that
I am.
I'm going to buy one myself.
Me too. I love
Yeah.
the genre anyway, and
Yeah.
I just absolutely want to buy it. Is it for
Oh,
sale
good,
yet,
good.
Nora?
No, not yet. I'll have it up tomorrow, hopefully.
Lovely.
Nora, tell us how it works. So do you write a chapter of the murder and
Yeah.
they have to solve a puzzle with the word
So
search and then go
yes,
to the next?
so so then there's the word search, and the words for the word in the word search are all in the chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just do it like that, and then it continues on for 14 chapters,
Uh-huh.
14 word searches, and then there is a bonus one where before before she solves it, they can solve it.
Oh,
You know that, yeah. So
that is
yeah, so that's
genius. That is
yeah.
genius. I
And
would,
then there's a rest because it's in a village, right?
yeah.
So then and it's
Very
about
clever.
I won't say, but anyway, it's about a fair and there's baking and stuff like that. So there's a recipe at the end of it
Oh,
and a map of the village. Because I'm going to do it.
I
I'm going
love
to do it.
that. I
So,
love that,
because I
Nora.
want to do a series, you see. So,
I
yeah.
love that
Brilliant.
too. It's kind of like a whole murder mystery experience where you get a nice recipe at the end. Lovely. I absolutely
I
love
think
it.
so.
So
Yeah.
I want to make sure that you all do that training on Canva because, if I could wave a magic wand, I would have you all creating better book covers. So what I teach in that training is the main three principles that I use when I'm designing something. Let me try and remember my three main principles. One is lighting, um, one is layering, and one is lettering. That's it. Lighting, lettering, and layering. I managed to remember it. Those three things will make your designs just look like the best designs in the world if you can incorporate those three principles. So I teach you those three principles in that training. And when I do any other training, they'll just appear in that module and you'll be able to just see every time I do it, I'll talk about the lighting, the lettering, and the whatever the other one was. I've forgotten it. Layering. Oh dear, my brain, honestly, it's just fog. It's just fog in there. I don't know what's going on. Right, so welcome back, everybody. Book bosses, book buddies. I hope you've buddied up. Remember that you can get a book boss, book buddy. There is a spreadsheet that Jeanette has created for us, and it is pinned to the top of the community inside the academy. So make sure that you've got a buddy. If you're not getting on with your buddy or anything happens, just send me a message, a polite message, just saying, "Look, Abby, my book buddy is a bit nuts," or you just whatever. We all love each other in here. We love the crazy, but we want you to be happily matched. So we can always match you with two people, whatever, just to keep everybody happy. So, what are we doing today? I wanted to just run through all the steps so that you know them. I cannot repeat them loud enough because we will forget some of the steps, especially the ones right at the beginning. We tend to dive in into stage two before we really properly did stage one. So I just want to go over that. We've got a new area where I'm putting some trainings. I think I've managed to put 3 up there. I just need to do another 3 tomorrow to finish the whole word search module. So I wanted that as a little separate mini course rather than you having to sit on these trainings with everybody else talking about all the things and me talking about word searches now and again. I've actually condensed it down into a succinct training that will teach you how to create word search books. I'm not teaching you how to create murder mystery word search books. Maybe we can get Nora to do a training one time because I've got no idea how you would actually create that. But I'm going to buy Nora's book and see what she's done. I don't know how you would go about even planning that. Would you like, did they solve the puzzle at the beginning? Do they come up with the murderer at the end? I need to see it done and in action and solve the mystery
Yeah.
myself for that
In
one.
fairness, now I do write
Yeah,
posts,
yes, that's it.
so
Yeah,
there is that, you know.
yeah. This is why it's a niche where you're not going to get many competitors, Nora, because there's not many people that will have the skill of being able to create a murder mystery story and the skill set of incorporating word searches. So I think this is one you could dominate the market in. That cover that I did for you, Nora, you could just repeat that cover over and over again with just different backgrounds and scenes and just use this similar lettering for each one and maybe different colors. I am talking in a minute, actually, it's on my sheet here, talking about the future and building a brand. Because if somebody loves one of your murder mystery word search books, Nora, and loves that cover, then another cover looks similar, they're going to be in love with your whole brand and you're going to have repeat buyers and repeat customers then,
Yeah,
which is
those
really
those houses ones,
the
the one you noticed that was doing really well. They've got and they all look very similar.
Really? So
Yeah,
that's it. That's what people
yeah.
love when they love a book, and then when the other books look very similar, they love it, don't they? Yeah, I think book series that I follow as well, I like the fact that they've got similar covers, but that they tell in different stories. I really like that. So yeah, exciting. So I've lost my train of thought now. What was I talking about? So new trainings into the academy. That word search one will be finished. I was hoping to finish it today, but we've just had workmen all over the house all day long. My dog barking. So I'll need to finish that for you all tomorrow. I'm going to ask if anybody's got any questions today because we're not going to get a chance to be all together on a call for a while now. I'm thinking about doing a call like this once a month. I feel like having a call once a week is a bit too much. But I'm going to do a poll just to ask you your thoughts. I do a call a week with my inner circle, with my mastermind. And I do want to make sure that this membership is different to that. So, so yeah, I need to do that as well. And sometimes the week just flashes past and you're like, oh, we've got another call. So it could be that we do one big one a month and we have it as a long call. Or we do one every 2 weeks or something like that. But I'd love to know your thoughts on that. Um, I want to talk about pen names today because a lot of people have been asking me, should they create a pen name or not? And, what are the pros and cons of creating a pen name? Now, I'd like to ask you to put in the chat, what do you think about pen names? What do you think is the advantage of having a pen name? Tell me, do you want a pen name or not? Tell me your thoughts about pen names. Go on, Liz.
I didn't know if you were looking for us to speak or chat, but put it in the chat.
Mhm.
I never thought about pen names until you shared from your personal view why you don't share all your stuff.
Yeah.
And that was the first time it occurred to me, that's so smart. Maybe I don't want
Mm.
people to know who I am. Or maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, for the
Mm.
anonymity, I really like that you shared that, Abby. Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it.
That's one of the main reasons why we do pen names. I'll just see what you're writing in the chat before I tell you all my thoughts. And my thoughts are my thoughts, my opinions, you don't have to take them, but hopefully they'll help you make your own decisions. Let's have a look. Joan says, I think I'd have a pen name for books out with my niche. Yeah. Beloved, I would love, oh, where's it gone? I would love pen name to create things very different that than I teach. Yeah. So think about when somebody's coming to your author page and your author page. Would you really want a book about swear words alongside your series about the Bible? Just to use that as an extreme example, but you know what I mean. Would you want your book about dog food being together with the one about makeup? So there are many self-publishers, would you believe, that have over 100 pen names for one person? There are many, many self-publishers that do that. Sam, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, just on that, I don't know if you saw my question earlier, if you've had builders and that in on school. If you've got different pen names, how does that, I couldn't work out how that works on like an author profile. Do you have a profile for each pen name?
Yeah, so you have an author page and you're allowed, I think Cindy might know this actually better than me. You're allowed three, I've not filled in my author page. You're allowed three pen names per email per author page. You set up your author pages separately than your Amazon KDP account.
Oh, okay, because I've got an author profile from a multi-author book I was in,
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
and I haven't done the KDP part, so I was just like, well, how's this going to work if I'm doing different pen names?
Yeah, so I'm going to create a whole little mini course about the author profile. A lot of people have asked me about how to create the author profile and stuff like that. So I'll do a little mini course on that really, really soon. In fact, I might do that next because I think it's important for us all to be thinking about what names to use, what pen names, our own names,
Mm,
and how to create a brand and how to think about, well, where's this going for the future? That's the big consideration here. Cindy,
yeah,
let me know if you know anything about author profiles or pen names that I've not covered. Because I
okay. So
think,
you think at the moment though you can have three pen names per email KDP account?
yeah,
Okay,
per author profile, you can have three.
right.
Yeah. And when you publish a book, there's those three areas as well. I think you can have up to 9 contributors when you're actually publishing a book. But I can't
Yeah,
imagine a situation or a scenario where we would do that unless you had short stories or something like that in a book. Cindy says, I have a pen name to build a brand. I'll have more than one to have books in different niches. Yeah. Just let me go right up. I think I've missed some comments here. Christine says being able to publish under different topics per name. Yeah. Um, just saying hello to everyone who said hello to me. Sorry, I didn't see your comments there. So, yeah. Hi, Tammy. Yvonne says, I think it would be good to have for fiction because people are searching your name as an author. They might get confused if the genre is different. Cindy, murder mystery, word search seems like a fun niche. It definitely does. Nikki says pen name for random stuff like word searches, own name for my brand. Nora's going to use her own name for anything to do with writing, but for low content, using publishing name and got a VA business as well called Help from the Cloud. So it worked with that. Liz says I would use my real name for non-fiction aromatherapy books, but pen name for fiction. Nora says I'd never remember them all. Yeah, I don't know. It must be a nightmare. Can you imagine running Amazon ads and trying to track your 100 pen names? I mean, that I think that's a little bit excessive. It might be, book publishing companies and they've got a team, it might be that kind of setup that would have over 100 pen names. Tammy says, can we just invent a name for the publisher instead of putting out names? Yes, right. So these are my thoughts. I know some book publishers who have sold their KDP accounts. It's legitimate, it's legal, it's just like selling a business. Yeah. So if you had I don't know, Actually, one of our members has got a beautiful jewelry business that she bought from one of my clients. So this is how people pass a business on to someone else. And if you can sell your whole KDP account, if it's making like 3K a month, I think they times it by 45, and that's the average price that they would have to offer you as a minimum for your KDP account. Now, you wouldn't want to sell a KDP account with books with your name in it. That would just be weird, wouldn't it? If some random dude in Bali is talking about that he's called Abby Cornell and he's Abby Cornell the author. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think he's going to want to buy my KDP account if it's full of books with me in it. So this is an important consideration. And I know a lot of you have already published books in your own names, but, have a think about, could you have another KDP account that is your partner's or your daughter's or your sister's or something like that if you want to sell your account in the future? So if your account is growing and building and you're trying to create a nest egg for the future, and you want to buy property or you want a cash injection in 5 years' time, it's a really important consideration now to think about, am I going to carry on this trajectory under my own name? Or, do I need to make a change here? Do I need to be working under a pen name or several pen names? So that's one consideration. If you ever want to sell your Amazon KDP account, you're pretty much screwed if it's full of your own books. Now, I don't know if you can unpublish your books from your accounts and sell your account that's just then got the books that aren't under your name. I don't think you can. I don't think you can republish a book that has been published on another Amazon KDP account. You could probably just take it down. So I think
You
that would be an
can,
option. Does anybody know the answer to that? I've not got to this.
yeah, you can archive,
Yeah.
right? You unpublish and then you can archive, but there's no delete.
Yeah. And
So you can unarchive.
you can't republish it then in another KDP
You
account.
can republish it,
Mm,
right? You can republish it with a different cover, so long as it has the same title.
right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll have to change everything. You can't republish it as it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, interesting. This is important considerations, even though we're fairly new to all of this, it is really important because you wouldn't want to publish all your books in your name, get really popular and think, okay, I want to sell my account now. I'm seeing all these people earning like 7 figures from the KDP account, which they genuinely do. And then you can't because you published all your books in your name. So, have a think about that. The other obvious one that a lot of you have put in the chat is having a name for a certain niche. So if you had colouring books, your pen name, it could be something like Jojo Bobo. You want it something easy to remember, fun, maybe something that a kid could say, something memorable. So your pen names, how to choose your pen names, it's probably going to be looking at the niche and looking at the other author names in your niche. Do you want a sophisticated name? T.S. Eliot. Sophisticated. Is it a colouring book? Jojo Bobo. I can't remember the name of that famous colouring book author. It's something like Jojo Bobo. It's something like that anyway, that creates these really cute little character images and has got colouring books and is earning multi 7 figures from this colouring book series. And yet you want a name also that matches your brand. So if you're going to have a brand and if you're going to create a book series where the covers look similar to each other, then you want a name that's going to match and go with the look and feel of your brand. So T.S. Eliot, the name, wouldn't really go very well on Jojo Bobo colouring books, would they? Like all the cutesy images and, all the colouring book images. And then suddenly it's got T.S. Eliot at the bottom. It just doesn't fit, does it? So whilst there is no rule that I can say this is how you choose your pen name, post it in the group, get people's thoughts on it, do some research. You also need to research, is somebody else using that name in your niche. That's the important aspect. As is somebody using that name in your niche? Is there somebody else using that name who is famous? You don't want to get confused with someone else. You want to be memorable. You want your brand to be memorable in its own right and stand on its own 2 feet rather than anybody getting confused with somebody else. Also, Amazon doesn't like it when you, what's the word? Not manipulate your audience, when you misrepresent or mislead your audience. So if there's a famous author creating all these coloring books and then you create a coloring book series with a very similar author name, even though it's just slightly different, then Amazon probably isn't going to look favorably on that, on you trying to come across as this famous author in the same niche. So try not to be too clever. This is something I would probably do like that. I'm not going to do it now. I know about that rule. But that would be me being clever and wanting people to think I'm this famous person. So yes, don't do that. Oh yeah, that's it, Cindy. Coco YO is the colouring book author that I was thinking of. So yeah, it's like Jojo Coco. That's the series I would have created. Something like too similar, you know. Nikki says, if you can republish with a different cover, could you change the author? I think so. It's all these little questions like this that we're never going to know until we actually try it, are we? And, you know, with Amazon, one person, it'll allow you to do something. And then when somebody else goes and tries to do the same thing, it won't let you. It just depends on who's checking your account that day. It's a bit like Facebook's the same. One day you can say a certain word and the next day you get banned for it. So yeah, unfortunately, we are under the power of the gods of Amazon when it comes to these things. So yeah, we're using lots and lots of different pen names for all the different niches, basically. That's how I work it. And that's probably the best thing to do. The way I think about it is, what books do I want showing together on a page under one author? And I really wouldn't want to mix them with something that is completely different. At the moment, we're creating so many books that are completely different, but we have like a publishing name for the word search books. So they can all come under like Bright Brains or whatever it is. Yeah. Well, international puzzles. So that works, doesn't it? And that would work for if you was doing crosswords or if you was doing activity books. You could put all of those things under one name. But then, you know, you'd have to think about what you want to do. Say you then created a joke book. Would you want the joke book under with the puzzles, or would you then want to create another pen name if you was doing joke books? Then what would you want to do if you created notebooks, if you created journals? You know, you might want something that feels a bit more feminine, like Sarah Miller is one of my favorite stationery creators. And it's, yeah, that name, it actually sounds like she makes stationery, doesn't it? For some reason. So yeah, so make sure that you check that other people have not got the same name. There might be a website where you can check that. I'm not sure. I feel like I've seen something on my travels, so I will try and dig that out of my notes. I'm just checking the chat. Yeah, and I'll do like a little I'll do another little mini course on pen names. So I think we need to know a bit more about that, how to actually go about checking the trademarks, checking whether it's already been used, all those sorts of things. Right, so going back to a bit of a recap. So that is pen names. I hope it's giving you food for thought and helped you to really think about, well, where do you want to take this business? Where you're going with it in the future. New trainings, they are in the classroom, just so that you know, they are under the word search area. There's a new training in the book cover area, and there's a new training in the sales and marketing area. I was trying to show you how to create a mock-up, but I'll let you watch the training to find out what happened. I'll let you find out what happened with that training yourselves. So now I want to just go over the process so that we're not missing anything. Step one of the process, you might want to write this whole process down, because the more that you drum it into your own mind, the more that you're not going to miss any key aspects. Remember, most people, the biggest mistake they make is they try to jump to stage 2 before they completed stage 1. We go, oh, I want to create the book. You just want to go into that stage, don't we? Naughty, naughty. So I want to stop you from doing that. So the first thing we need is mindset. So important. We're not expecting to publish this book and for everybody to suddenly buy it and to suddenly become a millionaire. That's not realistic. We're in it for the long haul. And it's a really great strategy to see what you are good at, to try different things, to have fun. Yeah, not to take this too seriously at the beginning, because you might be brilliant at creating recipe books. You might be amazing at creating guided journals. You might be incredible at non-fiction business books. You might be even better at how to draw or colouring books and make the best colouring books, and everybody wants to buy them. And you're not going to know this until you try and publish different things. Different book coaches teach this a different way, but I've not heard any book coach say that this is a bad idea. So I'm pretty confident, and it's worked for us. And I know other book coaches have done it this way. And because I have ADHD, and I like to do different things, and I like a new challenge, and I know a lot of people are very similar to me, this is why I'm teaching you this method of just really having fun, really leaning into the process, giving yourself some joy. If you get fed up of creating one book, just move to something smaller and lighter and easier, and go and create that, and then go back to that one. You want to always be feeling that this is a light, happy, and joyful process. And as soon as it starts to feel hard, unenjoyable, we need to change it. Have a conversation with me. We need to do something different, because as soon as you feel those feelings, you're going to stop, you're going to quit. We have to enjoy the process to keep going on, to get to the point where I know hundreds of publishers that are earning thousands per month, thousands beyond 10K months. But the common thing they all have is that they create quality books, they do the research, and they enjoy the process. That is what they've all got in common. So we need to learn from that. And that is the mindset, that this is not just something we're having a go at, and then we're going to go and try and do some e-commerce on Shopify next week. I mean, you can do that if you want to. I'm not stopping you. That's the first thing, is your mindset. Get your mindset sorted. What are you doing? Are you in it for the long haul? What do you want? What's your first goal? A great first goal is $100. A great next goal is $1,000. Actually, your first goal is your first sale, isn't it? That's your first goal, your first sale. Your second goal, $100. Your third goal, 1,000. We want to get to a point where we are consistently earning monthly income. That is an amazing milestone to hit, no matter how much it is. The next one is deciding on your book topics and always having a list. I have got so many books that I want to create on my books topic list, but I just go through it and I think, which one is speaking to me? Which one is lighting me up? At the moment, I'm doing a swear words word search book. I'm going to get a copy for my kids. They're going to really enjoy that. So we're just having fun, sat together in the lounge, me and my kids, coming up with swear words. They are loving it. And I'm actually shocked at how bad the words are that they know. They know worse swear words than I've ever even heard of. Yeah, it's terrible. So make sure you've got all the books that you want to create on a list. Just welcoming Julie. Welcome, Julie. So I'm just going through the book publishing process so that we all know and we're not missing any elements. So the first thing was mindset, knowing what our goal is, knowing that we're in it for the long haul and really staying in it for the joy, for the enjoyment of the journey. The next thing was deciding on our book topics and being excited by them and having a list. And if you're anything like me, you fill up stationery like this and you lose it. So think about, where can I put this list where I'm not going to lose it? And usually for me, it means sticking it to the wall. Anything else? I've tried everything else and I will lose it. I weld it to the wall. That is the only way. And then every time I have an idea, I go to it. So I had an idea today. I've got it in my phone as well as on the wall. So my idea today that I added to my list was to create a book about trauma withdrawal symptoms. And I've gone through a lot of trauma in my life. And I believe when you are healing from trauma, you experience like withdrawal because your body is used to being in trauma and it tries to ping you back into the trauma, into the drama, into the hate, into the nastiness, into the badness. And I have experienced like physical symptoms of withdrawal from trauma, trying to break away from it. And I want to write a book about that. I want to help other people to break out of trauma patterns and talk about trauma withdrawal, because I don't think anybody talks about that, and how to keep it going and keep that momentum in the right direction rather than pinging back into the trauma. I read a book called The Dance of Anger once, how, if you're in a narcissistic, manipulative relationship, you get used to it and you feel as though that's your comfort zone. It's a similar thing with trauma when you're trying to heal from it. It's very difficult to break up with your trauma. It's like a big breakup. Anyway, going a bit deep here, going off on a tangent, but just to tell you that was an idea I had this morning in the shower. And then I would have forgotten about that. But because I've put it on my book topics list, I now can come back to that. And, I might change somebody's life when I create that book. I'm really excited about it. So book topic list, very important to have it on your wall. I've got it on my phone as well, but on my phone it's very messy. But I don't tend to delete my notes on my phone. So that's another place where I don't tend to lose things. Then the next thing is your research. You must research the profitability and the searchability of your book idea. Like my trauma withdrawal book, I need to really think about what category that would be in and what title will it have. And probably the trauma withdrawal bit will be this subtitle, because who is going to be searching trauma withdrawal? Nobody. I don't want to create that book and put it out there and nobody be searching for it. I want to put it under a searchable keyword or phrase that people are actually searching for. Very important. That's the difference between making no sales and making years and years and years of sales and building and building and building on it. So make sure you research, you use your Kip Scout, you use your Book Bolt, you use your whatever you've got, KDP Spy. There's another one, something Titans, I think is a free one that I've heard about. I've not got that one, but if anyone knows what that one's called, pop it in the chat. Yvonne says totally, people are sometimes getting something out of the trauma, or the emotion seems strange, but so many reasons why. Yeah, so intriguing. Make sure you research your keywords. Now, some people have had books suspended or taken away from just being a vomit of keywords. So we want to just stick to 3 main keywords or phrases when we're publishing our book. But you need to research your keywords before you create your book title and subtitle and your book description. So those are the most important things. You might have amazing book ideas, but if you do not publish them using the right searchable keywords and terms, that can be the difference between no sales at all and sales for the next 10 years, 20 years, whatever. Thank you, Nora. Self-publishingtitans.com. Is that the same as Kip Scout? Is it different? All these things seem so similar.
No, it's not like that. It's more. I only signed up to it last week.
Ah,
So I'm still sort of
yeah, let us
having to look
know.
at it. Yeah. I will. Yeah,
I'm getting app overwhelm or software overwhelm. I don't know about anybody else, but it's like, sign up for this. I did a training today and I was mentioning another software called Place It, which creates amazing book mock-ups. But do we really want another software? I don't. I'm actually not a member of Place It, but it just looks so amazing. But you can get easily sucked into ending up with 50 different softwares. And we don't want that, do we? So the next thing is to decide on your title. Your title needs to be the exact thing that your ideal customer is searching for in that search bar. If you want to make sure that your book pops up, it's got the best chance of popping up in a search, it needs to be the search. As boring as that sounds, as boring as your title's going to be, what was it? Money skills for teens. And Kelly wanted to call it something really cool. But people are searching money skills for teens. And all the other books in the competitor range are all called money skills for teens. That gives a little clue. Why are they all called that? It's the searchable key phrase. So maybe I shouldn't call it this clever, wonderful thing that I wanted to call it. Maybe I should be savvy and just call it the searchable keyword. So this is the difference between selling books on Amazon and selling books in a bookstore. So we decide on our title. That's the next thing. We check for trademarks. We check that we're not infringing on any trademarks. Then we want to think about our subtitle, and we want to include keywords in that subtitle. For example, with word search books, keywords are for adults, for seniors, large print. That's what people are searching for when they're searching for word searches. Christine, yes, that's it. Self-publishing titans. Thank you. Have a look at the top competitors, what they have got as their titles and their subtitles, and write the top 5 down, and you'll see a pattern. And think, okay, I was going to do this, but it doesn't fit that pattern that they've all got. So I'm going to change mine now to fit this pattern. All the answers to all the questions are in your competitors, especially the ones that are doing well without ads. They are doing something right. So just do the same as them. Like, we can't have the same title, the same subtitle, and the same book description as our competitors. It needs to be different, but we can use the other keywords that are popping up. We can use the same title. If that's what people are searching for, we can have the same title. The next thing is to design your book cover. I get you to do it at this early stage because I feel as though you end up with a better book when you can see and feel that book cover. It matches. When you start creating the interior, it matches what your book cover was like, if that makes any sense, but it works. You can always tweak your book cover later. We use the KDP book cover calculator. You can just Google that to get the exact Canva dimensions for your book cover, but you can always resize it at the end if you end up writing a whole 100 pages more or whatever. 20 extra pages or whatever, it doesn't make a big difference to the size. If you do an extra 100 pages, it's going to make a difference. Book cover, star, 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 very important. Then if you're writing a book, this is where you create a highly, highly detailed book outline. I've put a book outline example of ours inside the classroom, and it's 65 pages long. You'd think, is that the book, Abby? It's the book outline, because AI can only write a certain amount of writing for you, and then it'll stop. That's the reason. So if you want AI to write you a really good first draft of your book, then you need the most detailed book outline you can possibly create. That book outline needs to say, chapter 1, this is what's going into it. Then we're going to talk about this. Then we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to talk about this. Then we're going to talk about that. So that when you put it back into AI to actually write it, when it runs out of whatever it runs out of, memory or time, it still knows what's next, and it's not going to go gaga on you. And here inside Book Boss, this is what we're teaching you: to create books fast, but without sacrificing quality. The only way to not sacrifice quality is to have a really highly detailed book outline. That's super important to get your head around. The old traditional way, your book outline, it might have been 6 pages. Now, if we're going to use AI, the book outline needs to almost be a book in itself. It's easy to create, though. You don't think it's loads of work to create 65-page book outline. It isn't. It's all in the training. Yeah, there's a video demo how to do the book outline, Joan. I think it's in the other book camp. I'll dig it out. It's so boring. I didn't want to teach it again. Because it's there. I'll find it for you and I'll put it into this book camp. Same with the formatting. I didn't want to do another video formatting a book. I'll do as many videos as you want about book covers because I enjoy that. Oh, if you want me to teach it again, I absolutely will. Yeah, yeah. And then you've also got a copy of my book outline as well, so you can see what it looks like. So that's a book outline is for if you're creating a book. If it's non-fiction, fiction, I'm trying to think, a medium content book possibly might need a book outline. Even if it's a guided journal, you're going to probably want to know what it's about. Where does it lead to from point A to point B? You need a bit of a plan. With word search books, I don't have any sort of a plan. I'm trying to think, would you need a plan? I think the only thing we need to plan is what niches of words are you happy for ChatGPT and AI to come up with? So if we want to create a word search book about camping, I always use this as an example, it's going to run out of words to do with camping and start coming up with really long words, which is no good for your book. So if you add in hiking, countryside, caravanning, nature, then that's going to be really helpful for when you come to create your words list and your word search book. You can also plan with your word search book, well, this list of words is for this camping word search book. What could I use this same list of words for to create a second book, a third book, and a fourth book? If you can create 4 books out of one words list, you've obviously got more chance of making sales, because you created 4 books, not just one, and you can put them in slightly different search keyword categories. So think about, okay, I can use my word list for, like, I've got my naughty word list, naughty words. I've got dirty words, so I'm going to do a dirty word search book. And then I'm going to do a swear word search book. So that's 3. So I'm going to be able to use those words again and again. The actual word searches will be different, and the words will, it won't be the same book. It will still be a different book with a different cover with different word search puzzles inside it. So that's instead of your book outline if you're creating word searches. Your next thing is you need to create your word list. And my word list bot has been going a bit cuckoo on this computer that I'm sat at. And when I use it at my laptop upstairs, my laptop is newer, it's absolutely perfect, and it's giving me some perfect word lists. And I don't know why that is. I have no answer for it, but I want to tell you that that's happening to me just so that you're aware of it in case it happens to you. So when I try to create a word list using the same bot, the AI GPT here at this computer, it creates the list going that way horizontally. And I keep telling it, no, I want it going down so that I can copy and paste it into my spreadsheet. And it keeps doing it that way. And I've switched off my computer and I've logged back in and it's still doing it. And as soon as I go upstairs to my laptop, it does it beautifully. So why is that? I don't know why it is. But my point is that you know that it can glitch. AI can glitch, whether you're doing images, mock-ups, photos, word lists. Sometimes AI can glitch and there's no rhyme or reason for it. All I can say is log back out, log back in, try again. If you've got a computer and a laptop, try it on both. For some reason, I'm having a different experience on the different devices, even though it's the same chat GPT. I don't understand it. But trial and error, post in the group if you're having any major problems with it. I can slightly tweak it and reprogram it, but it's working so beautifully at my laptop. I don't know what to reprogram. So bizarre. So we want to then create our word list. You want to know how many puzzles you want, how many words you want in each puzzle. And we ask ChatGPT to come up with themes for each set of 12 words, 15 words, 9 words, however many words you want in each puzzle. We create a word list in a line going down the left-hand side, and we just leave a blank cell in between puzzles. So that's your fiction, your non-fiction, and then your word search books. The next thing is we want to create the interior. So whether it's fiction, non-fiction, or a puzzle book, we're using that book outline to put it back into ChatGPT, back into the ebook creator bot, whatever it's called, ebook creator GPT, to actually create our first draft of our book. We're using the word list to go to book bolt, and we're going to create the interior of our word search book, and so on and so forth. My chat keeps flashing. Don't know why. With the interior of your book, the beauty of being here in Book Boss is that we're using AI to create that first draft. And we've got that detailed book outline that's going to go back into AI so that we can create a really great quality first draft. And then we're going to go and embellish it with our second draft. That's where the human in us comes into play. We're going to add stories, an introduction in our own voice. We're going to add different stories all throughout it, possibly change some sentences and some wording so that it's more friendly, so that it sounds like it's written by you. And that will be probably the final draft. We'll just have to edit it and just check it, do grammar and spelling and editing after that. And the same with the word search book. We're going to go and add our human eye. Are we happy with all the words? Are some words repeated too much? Are some words just gobbledygook? They're not even real words. ChatGPT's done that to me sometimes. And sometimes it's not added like words that are two words together. So just check it with your human eye. Remove any words that you don't want and then go and ask ChatGPT to come up with some words to replace it. So that's your book interior. Then all that's left to do is formatting and editing. We use Readsy to format our fiction books and non-fiction books. The training for that is in the book camp last time. We use Book Bolt to format our word search books, or you can create them on Canva, but it will take you longer. If you're doing a word search book for children, it's probably better to do it in Canva. So that's your formatting, that's your editing, that's your final check. The final check that you probably missed is to double check your book with your competitors, double check your title, double check your subtitle, double check your book description, write your book description. You can get ChatGPT to write your book description. You can copy and paste your competitors' book descriptions, put them on a document and say, please, can you create me a better book description than these for my book? And my book is called X, Y, and Z. Please, can you make sure my book description is different to these ones? So making sure it's different. So you can again use ChatGPT to create your book description. And then we're on to publishing our book. Finally, the training for that is in the other book camp. I'll copy that training across to this book camp as well so that you've got it. Make sure when you publish it that you format your book description so that it has formatting tools in that part. And that's the part that people are going to glance and read. I use emojis and I highlight it in bold in a list. The main selling points of that book makes a great gift for fathers. Yeah. Extra large print for easy reading. And I'll add some emojis. So the main selling points, people are just going to glance that list with their eyes. It's much easier to read a bold list with emojis than, if somebody's just got a big paragraph. So they're much more likely to buy your book if the book description is easy to read. So once you've published your book, usually Amazon has got a few little glitches that it wants you to correct. It usually just randomly comes up with stuff. Well, it does with us anyway, probably not with Nora. She's got it down to a T. But we usually have, oh, you've got to do this, change your author, blah, blah, blah. Cover, we've had a few different things. It will send you an email if it wants you to change anything. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll just go through and everything will be fine. I recommend that you put it on ebook at 0 to start off with so that you can get your fellow book bosses to leave you a book review. As long as they've downloaded it, ask them to flick through at least 10-12% of the book before they leave you a review. Otherwise you just won't get the review. It won't go down as a it won't be classed as a review.
Sorry, Abby, can I just say, I've discovered, so even though you're putting it on at 0, if you're putting it into KDP Select, where people can actually get it for 0 anyway if they have Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah.
But the number of pages read are registering as sales. Like I'm getting, it's minimal, but I am getting every day that somebody else has read a page. I'm getting the royalties are going up. So
yeah.
there's no downside.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, good to know. It knows everything, doesn't it? It's quite scary. Do you get an email every time somebody reads a page? I mean, that seems insane to me.
No, it's in the report. It's KENP. I forget what it's called. But something with pages. So it's Kindle, starts with Kindle and ends with pages. And it says KENP read. And so it'll show the number of pages that are read. And the way Select works is there's a global fund.
Yeah.
And at the end of the month, then everybody gets paid out of this fund based on the number of pages that people have read. So, yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Joan says, how long would you recommend having it at 0? How long do you have yours at 0 for, Nora? I know
So, I'm not sure if you can do it at a day. I think you can, but I wouldn't recommend that because people have missed it with time zones and stuff. So you can have it for 3 days or 5 days. It's up to you. 3 days is plenty. Like I had 96 downloads in 3 days.
That's amazing.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
Really cool. Yeah. So
brilliant.
You do that.
So I'm sure I had one for 30 days at 0. I'll have to double
Now,
check.
I don't put it on
Mm,
as zero. I
yeah.
put it into KDP Select and then choose a promotion.
Mm,
That's the,
yeah.
I don't know.
Mm.
Yeah, Joan. It was everybody. I did just do it on Facebook. I put it out there on Facebook and then everybody here and, you know,
Yeah, but what a difference
brilliant.
that makes, isn't it? A
I
difference of
know.
the collective and a difference of the support of everybody in here as well, I think is huge, isn't it? So, yay. Brilliant. Um, yeah, final checks. I don't know if I finished that. Is to double check your title, double check your subtitle, double check your description, double check what your competitors have got, because sometimes we get lost in the creation process and we lost the profitability and the keywords and the title. We can just forget these things. So double check all of these things before you publish. And make sure, think about why would somebody buy my book in this category above that book and that book? Why would they buy mine? Why would they choose mine? So sometimes I put something like, double the amount of puzzles or extra large print or for seniors or bumper edition, things like that. So have a think about why are they going to choose your book. And then we've got the book reviews process. We've got our spreadsheet here. Just make sure you might need to connect with people individually. People are busy, they've got busy lives. You might need to just gently send people a message. That's absolutely fine. As long as you're not harassing everybody. We're happy for you to just send messages out saying, did you manage to read my book? Blah, blah, blah. We are here to have that agreement that we're helping each other with book reviews. Make sure you leave an honest review. We're not here to say you've got to leave me a 5-star review and love my book. That is against Amazon's terms and conditions. Leave an honest review. I'd much more appreciate somebody said, oh, I loved it, but this was missing. I'd prefer this. I wish this had been in there, but I love that. Don't be horrible or nasty. But if you felt as though it could be improved, tell the author, because then they're going to use that in the next book as well. Leave an honest review. Just a reminder that I prefer you to have a different Amazon account to leave your reviews and then have your KDP account separate. That's just in case Amazon's like, oh, you left a review for Sally and Sally left a review for you. We're trying not to do them on the same day anyway. It shouldn't happen. I've never really known it to happen when it's like this. It's usually people who are spamming reviews and doing lots and lots of reviews. They've been stopped and blocked. But just to protect your Amazon KDP accounts, it is better practice for you to leave your book reviews on a different Amazon account. Remember, it's an Amazon account, not an Amazon KDP account. You're only allowed one of those, but you can have several Amazon accounts with an email address or a partner. I use my husband's sometimes, my daughter's one sometimes, but I don't want to use my own Amazon KDP account one to leave a lot of book reviews. Yvonne missed the book reviews bit. It's pinned into the community, so have a look. There's a spreadsheet that you can add your name onto. Actually, I'm going to add another column because I want you to put the link to your book so we can download it, especially if it's in the promo stage. That's the stage where you need to message everybody. Because when you get to where you have to pay for it, we don't want to all be paying for each other's books. So you want to just get people to make sure they've got it whilst it's zero. And then they can take their time to read through it, make sure they've gone through the first 10% and then leave you a review. And then I want people to leave the link to where they can leave you a review, because that will be really convenient, won't it, in the spreadsheet, if you're not fiddling around trying to find where am I going to leave this person a review, if we can put the link there in that spreadsheet. So I'll get Jeanette to do that. So that's your final checks. You're making sure this book is optimized for profitability. That's what we're here to achieve. Profitability. It probably won't happen that week, maybe not even that month. But if we optimize it for profitability, We've optimized the description, the title, the keywords, the subtitle. We've got an amazing book cover. We've thought about why are people going to buy my book and not the others? When we've thought about all these things and we've got a high quality book, that's a recipe for success. So then we're on to promo and marketing and sales. I'm gradually adding training into that promo and marketing area in the academy. At the moment, we've got a training on using social media, author promotion template. You've got an author promotion template there that is really nice. And then I've just done a training on how to create a book mock-up for your book. So you get your book cover, download it onto your PC, and then create your mock-up where it looks like a real book. So you don't actually have to have bought your book and taken a photo of it. So you can create a mock-up using software. So you can use Canva. Canva's rubbish at book mock-ups. For some reason, it's gone really downhill. They used to have lovely book mock-ups in Canva a year or two ago, and now it's just really crappy. So the other things we can do is use ChatGPT, which has really improved in terms of the images that it's creating. I think it joined up with DALL-E or something like that happened a few months ago. And now it's really good at actually putting the right words on the images as well. So again, that was a problem just a few months ago. So you can use ChatGPT and you can also use a software called Placeit. That is the best software if you've got $20, but you could potentially create all your book mock-ups in 1 month with Placeit and then just cancel your subscription. So you've got them all and you can use them all for months and years to come. And that's it. That's the whole process. I hope that that's added a few gaps that you had. The most important thing for me is double checking your profitability. You know, I'm obsessed with that stuff and the strategy and stuff like that. Double check your keywords, your phrases, your profitability, how it stands, you know, in the column, in the feed with your competitors. Why is somebody choosing your book? Think about your brand. Are you going to build a brand out of it? Could you create another one with a similar cover? Think about what your brand would be called. Joan loves the Abbey strategies. Thank you, Joan. You know, I want you to all be successful and profitable. I want you to have an impact as well, obviously. That goes without saying. Right, so that's me banging on. That's what I wanted to cover today. I wanted to cover that, thinking about the future, thinking about pen names, thinking about a brand. I wanted to point you to the new trainings in the different areas in the classroom. More trainings, just finishing off the word search stuff is coming tomorrow. I just wasn't able to finish it today due to workmen in our house. We're having all the windows replaced. So we had 5 workmen in here all day and a barking dog. So it's been a bit manic. So, Claire says, enjoyed the part of the session I've managed to be here for, and we'll go and watch the replay afterwards. No worries, Claire. Right, I'm just going to ask if anybody's got any questions for me now. I've been chatting for about an hour, haven't I? So I just thought I'd see if anybody's come across any hurdles, got any questions. Yvonne, I know we've been chatting, haven't we? So I did some research for you on ADHD and business, and I found that workbook that popped up that was really profitable.
Yeah.
And ADHD and business, there's quite a lot of titles that come up with those keywords that are profitable. It's coming up as a profitable niche when I just added those 2 words into the search. So I would stick with that.
Yeah, I think I realise like the simpler the title, the better, and what people are putting in. Because like I start looking at dopamine and that, and I think, well, actually, it's probably for people that have had books out for ages that are well known. You know, it's not going to be something that people are necessarily searching. It's not going to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they're looking for something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree. But what you've given me is really, really helpful.
Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, it might be a growing trend. I am hearing stuff online about dopamine and cortisol, and it is something I'm hearing more of.
Yeah, Joan, yeah.
So, yeah, it might be worth doing some research in those two areas and thinking where does my book best fit? Are all three of these areas showing up as profitable? Also think about, I think I said this to you, make sure it's very clear from the book title, the subtitle, and the cover, what problem is being solved by somebody buying that book. It's all very well writing a book about business success and ADHD, but if you can be more specific about the
Yeah,
actual problem it overcomes in that book, you'll get more sales.
totally, because mine's isn't necessarily about strategy or anything like that. It's about the energetics. It's about subconscious beliefs and trauma and all those kind of things as well.
Yeah.
So it's about like expanding your energy to be able to receive more and all that kind of stuff. So that is,
Mm,
if I can get that in the get ADHD business in the
yeah.
title, but something along those lines in the
Subtitle.
subtitle, the
Mm,
subtitle, yeah, subtitle.
mm.
And then maybe just images that kind of align with that as well.
Hmm.
So what I've said to you before is maybe just thinking about not necessarily looking for other books that are ADHD, maybe looking at book covers for people that have written books on
Yeah, I
energetics
was
and
just
that
gonna
kind of
say,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
have a look because I can just picture like a brain and maybe some light coming out of it. Just have a look at what they've got on the covers of the energetic.
yeah,
You've got
yeah.
Lenka Lutonska wrote a book about marketing and energetics.
Yes.
That kind of category. Have a look at what
Yeah,
category her book is falling under, and then
yeah,
have a look at the other books within that category as well to get some ideas. And actually,
yeah.
business and success and ADHD, and then with a cover that looks more like it's about energetics. That's gonna
Yes,
be it, isn't it?
for sure. Yeah, yeah. Give me a few things to think about. I'm just going over it for about the third to the fourth time because I realise, like, we're doing it all through Chat GPT and I'm feeding it with stuff and I'm going on and on, I want this and I want that. And then you're repeating stuff and then having to put it back in again and do it chapter by chapter. Now I'm like, oh my God, the sentence is too short. I'm now having to join them all up. So I'm going back.
Yeah.
So there's about, I think I've got 17 chapters and a conclusion. So I'm currently now going back through it all again. But
Yeah.
you want it to be right, eh? You don't want it to be like, oh my God, no, I can't change that now. You just want it to be right. I'm not going to spend years on it, but I still want it to be right.
Yeah, ideally, we would start our first book at just 8 chapters, something like that, just to get through the process. But I know you wanted this book
Yeah,
out of your business and something that you can show in the future. So that's like a different scenario. Common issues with ChatGPT or even the ebook generator is it keeps doing bullet points and short sentences.
yes,
So we have to feed it with example documents and say, I want it to look like this. I've got one that has got all copy and paste of my brand voice. So I just upload that. Now ChatGPT can have that in its memory. This is a new update that came in just this week that our ChatGPT can store our brand voice back in its memory.
great. So
So
good.
yeah, common issues with ChatGPT are short sentences, bullet points, and it just stop it.
Quote marks all the time,
Yeah.
like quotes everywhere. And I'm like, but I think the good thing is when you're doing it, you learn, right, these are the things I need to put in to stop it from doing that. And so when you're
Exactly.
doing your next book,
Yeah, it's
it's
all
a learning
about
process, isn't
workflow,
it?
where you say, I want it to look like this. That's how to get it to work. And
Yeah.
sometimes it just glitches and you've got to log back out and log back in again, and then it works beautifully. I've written gorgeous first draft books using it, and then another time it'll just be coming out with just lists and bullet points, and I'm just like, I just give up.
I know. I know.
So,
Thank you, Abby.
yeah, there is also software out there. I will be posting a post about the different software. It's very, very expensive. There is software out there that can write a whole fiction book for you. But we're talking 500 to £1,000, dollars, whatever. Um, for that software to actually write you a book, you have to have so many credits, buy the credits, and then I think maybe it goes to a writing team as well. I'm not sure how it works, but there is software that actually just writes really good quality books. Yeah. I'll investigate that further. Right. Any other questions, anybody? KDP word search, Liz. No, I've not heard of that.
I just found it. It looks like it's brand new. I want to say a month or two old. It's super new and very inexpensive right now. It's £5.
Oh,
No,
nice
three
to look.
pounds. I think it's like
Yeah,
£3.
we'll have a look because if you're just creating word search books and you don't want the book bolt is brilliant actually for keyword search. It's got an amazing keyword search tool that I've shown everybody how to use in the word search little mini course that I'm recording. I've already done that training. So that's good for that as well. And it's also got the journals and the planners and quite a lot of other different stuff in that. So depends what you want to do and what you want to achieve. But it sounds like that if that's creating word searches, then it sounds like it's a good one. No worries, Yvonne. Bye, Yvonne. She's gone. Right, any more last questions before I go and grab my dinner in between calls? I've got another call. In fact, I've got another 2 calls. It's been a busy day. What I tend to do is I squeeze all my calls into a Monday and then I'm just riding the wave the rest of the week. I'm just surfing the waves. No other questions. You know, you can post your questions anytime inside the community. I'll add a poll to see how often you would prefer to meet. I've just got a gut feeling that once a week is a bit too much, but I'll see what you all think. Because we want to be writing, we want to be creating our books, don't we, and publishing our books.
And Abby, there is a co-working tomorrow. Is that
Yeah,
right?
there's usually a co-working session every day, different
Love
times.
those. Love
Yeah, so
those.
there'll be one on tomorrow. Yeah. All right, everybody, it's been amazing. Lovely to see you all. Let's get going. Let's get out of our heads and into action. Out of our head and into action.
Abby, there was a question about
Sorry.
did you have a book bolt special offer yet?
Oh, yeah,
Link.
I will post it in the group. Yeah. Yep. Thank you, whoever that was. Yeah.
It was Nikki.
Yeah. Okay, will do. All right, I'll end the session now. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.